up, Auburn Nation? It's Jimbobbington, and we are driving down Pikes Peak. We just made it to the summit of 14,115 feet, and on the way back down I decided, hey, I should maybe do a video. So here we are. And what I'm going to discuss is whether or not it is worth it to tune your bike, whether that's just a kind of off-the-shelf tune from Fuel Moto or a custom dyno tune, what have you. Obviously that includes intake and exhaust. It's not near as worth it if you don't do those two things along with it, but of course you would get some sort of improvement over stock regardless. So we'll be right back. Look at it right there. Look at it. Alright, we're back. Hopefully you can hear me over the Jake brake noises. There will be a lot of engine braking in this video. But let's start off with the short answer. Yes, of course, it's worth it. But let's discuss why. Oh man, that's loud. There's the obvious performance benefits. Faster, more horsepower, more torque. I think that's probably the most common thing most do it for. But there's a lot more to it. I'll go over real quick my setup. I have a Arlen Ness torque box intake. I have a Hacker Mayhem baffled exhaust, and I have a custom mapped dyno tune from Pikes Peak, Indian. I just paid for the PV3 license. I did not actually buy a PV3, so they tuned it. I don't have a PV3 device. I figured I'm not really going to be messing with it. I'm not going to do logging. I'm not going to look at the gauges and stuff like that. So I figured I'd save $100 and just not buy the thing altogether, because it would just sit there. All of my opinions in this video will be based on my experience with this setup. But I can assume most good setups will have similar benefits, if not the same. So getting more air into your bike can actually improve efficiency. So even though I drive around kind of like an asshole, I think I've seen the maximum of 53 miles to the gallon. And I do average 50. I think the worst I've seen is like 47, 48. So 50 is a really good average. I don't know why I see so many people complain that they don't get good gas mileage. I feel like I get great gas mileage, especially for the performance that I have with 100 wheel horse. Well, technically there's more than that. I had a 99 wheel horsepower uncorrected at 6,500 density altitude. So be rest assured I am over 100 at the wheels and seat. I can't remember my torque figure because that one's not as impressive. I think it's like 74? If that's wrong, I'll put some text on the screen. But yeah, I get great gas mileage. Drivability is enhanced. And now what I mean by that is you get a broader RPM range that is effective. With my tune, they did not increase the rev limiter, so I still redline at 8,300. I don't have proof of that because I've never hit it. It's kind of, in my opinion, it's a waste to go to redline. That's not the best shift point for performance. In my dyno chart, you can see horsepower peaks at 7,800 to 8,000. So really no point in going to 8,300 or raising the rev limiter for that matter. Lots of people do. I think they go to like 8,500 or so. Not a huge increase. But I'm also not going to the drag strip or the track at all. Ooh, my gears are popping like my exhaust. Oh. So in stock form, you may not really have the ability to cruise around under 3,000 RPM because the torque band isn't really effective at that point. But what I found after being tuned was I have more torque down low, and I can putt around at 2,000 to 2,500 RPM just fine, which is great because that's also where I need to be to try to keep my exhaust down in the neighborhood. Brake check. I don't even use checks. I mean brakes. I guess they don't care if motorcycles crash and burn. They know we don't use our brakes. So that was a great surprise. Peak torque is still around 5,000 RPM. But a lot more usable power in more conditions, scenarios. So it does improve city driving whether you're romping on it or not. The throttle is a lot smoother and less twitchy, especially at those very low RPM cruising speeds. Just the tiniest bit of input will keep you going. So it's like a sand. I don't like it. So it's almost like a one-to-one input, but I would say the throttle tops out at around 80 to 90% input. So at one point, I mean, going wide open throttle doesn't really matter because you were already there 10% of the turn ago. But it's very even and consistent, the throttle mapping. So that's great. So you'll get a smoother ride that's easier to control, more power band to use at lower speeds, and it really makes for a better experience on the motorcycle. does get up and go. Some weird old man was trying to race me in a Porsche 911 Carrera S, and he could not pull away from me. And that was like the second day with my tune, so I wasn't fully comfortable with the bike. Or riding it perfectly or anything like that. It does change. And don't expect it to be night and day the second the tune is on there. In my experience, it took a good 3 or so drive cycles for the new tune to really show itself. The first day, when I first just took off out of the parking lot of my shop, I putted around for a good 45 minutes to an hour in the local area, just in case there was anything funky that I noticed. And I wasn't like crazy impressed. I could tell there was something going on. And also I wasn't giving it 100% by any means. I did pop a check engine light. The one and only I've ever had. That one day, that same day, during that just ride near the shop to vet it out. And I went back, there was no codes, nothing they could see wrong. I think it was just a fluke of the O2 sensors getting accustomed to the new setup with the new exhaust and the new intake and all that sort of thing. I've been riding the shit out of this bike and have never gotten a check engine light again. No hiccups, nothing. The only thing different that could be improved is it chokes sometimes on a cold start. Doesn't seem to be fuel related, so I'm going to probably change out my spark plugs to some iridiums. BKR9EIX or something, I think is the part number. And hope that gives a better spark, and we'll see if that solves that situation. It has nothing to do with fuel priming. I'll prime it. Why are you going so goddamn slow? I'll prime it 2 or 3 times. It doesn't make a difference. Oh my god. Seriously? 15 miles an hour? Thank you. From my house, which is around 6,400 feet. 0 hiccups. It ran great. So I don't believe there's any sort of reliability issue caused by tuning. Obviously, if you get an off-the-shelf tune, you may experience some weird things if you don't exactly have the tune built for your perfect setup. I could see some weird things going on there. People say they have some dead spots in the RPM band. But I don't really experience anything like that. Everything from my tune is fantastic. Now, sure, 100 horsepower out of the box may be plenty for a lot of you out there. So maybe tuning isn't right for you. always have to tune for performance. You could tune for reliability, efficiency, and man, does an intake and exhaust sound good. But 100 times over, I would do this again. And of course, I would always prefer a dyno tune that was written for my specific bike in my environment. I really wanted that, especially since most tuners are at sea level and I live at high elevation. So having the tune written at 6,500 feet for me was a big bonus. And I know that it's going to function perfectly in our thin air. It wasn't cheap. I think I paid over $500 for the dyno time. I paid $200 for the license on the PV3. So yeah, that's a bit more expensive than just buying a PV3 fuel moto and getting one of their tunes. That is up to you. I also have a kind of non-standard setup. There's not a lot of people out there with Hacker Mayhem. And I didn't want some tune that was written for a Freedom Combat exhaust. I wanted something that was written specifically for my hardware. I've ever heard complain about having a tune or think it wasn't worth it are the ones who don't experience a benefit from it. And if that is true, there's something wrong. You got the wrong tune, or something is up. It wasn't installed right. Because it is a pretty night and day difference. The beast does change. So let me know in the comments if you hate your tune, if you love your tune. I'd especially like to hear some dyno figures from some different setups. So drop me some comments. If you got any questions, let me know. This is Jimbobbington, reminding you, don't be a skid mark. We'll see you next time.